Incredible. Hello and welcome to Perspectives. Karachi, a very sensitive matter and no laughing matter. Um, did the problems resolve today or not? That is the question. Were the right steps taken? That is the question. The question is, can the right steps be taken? We discussed this yesterday as well, but today we would like to take another perspective on it. Can the government really take a stance in Karachi? Can the government take a position? Federal government, I'd correct. Can the federal government really do anything for a province which is in such a turmoil? For a city which is in a province is in such turmoil? Given the 18th Amendment, given the provincial autonomy, to whatever level it is, can the federal government intervene? If the federal government intervenes, how will our media and the public take it? Any steps the federal government takes where the provincial government is not of the same political party, there will be a conflict. Given that, where do the people of the city go? What is their position? Should they be penalized for voting the way they did, for the imbalance in the federation and the province, imbalance in the disparity of the inequality of the political party, I have to choose my words very carefully, in the government, or is there a solution at hand? My guests on my right are representing the youth of the city and citizens of the city. Ms. Hirasha, thank you very much for coming. We're expecting a couple of other young people. They haven't arrived yet. As they do, we will have them join us. On my left, dear friend, Mr. Zafar Ali, thank you so much, sir. I'm always scared of your notes. The frantic note-taking. Chief of CPLC, Citizens Police Liaison Committee, Mr. Ahmed Chinoy, thank you very much, sir. And Barrister Shahida Jamil, she doesn't require any introduction. Shahida, thank you very much for being here. Let's start with you because you have a view on the law as well. A lot of people say that the prosecution is impossible in this country, and in particular in Karachi, because it doesn't matter how many criminals you arrest. We've arrested hundreds and thousands of criminals, people who were direct, confessed perpetrators of the Sher Shah Market attack. They were actually released. People who have committed absolute atrocities are released because there is not enough evidence. So, given the lack of prosecution capability in such crimes, historically, I don't know about the future, and given the political dynamics of the city, where do we stand?
Maybe I would like to put it a little differently. Despite the fact that I totally agree that the police need training, equipment, upgradation, all that said, yet many of them are very capable.
Mm-hmm.
They have, as you said, managed to nab a lot of people. But the problem actually occurs is when we talk about insufficient evidence,
Mm-hmm.
really speaking, it is the pressure that comes on the police not to submit the full evidence so that the person goes scot-free. And this has been seen time and again, so that a huge image has built up of insufficient evidence. Now, insufficient evidence does signify, when it comes to this scale, that there is a problem of political will. They get interference, they get telephone calls, they get the witnesses are pressurized. It's a full system. And then, with the court delays in bringing them to trial or the lengthy interrogations, then come the pressures on the witnesses to resile from their positions.
So the whole prosecution weakens.
So the whole prosecution weakens, and then this weak case is presented, and they are allowed
eventually collapse.
Or they're released as saying there isn't any evidence at all.
Time and again, I've been doing this for whatever number of years, and at least for the past 6 years, I would have done over 100 shows on this topic, political will. And Sab, I want to ask you this very straight and honestly. How can dealing with crime be synonymous with political will? What does politics have to do with dealing with absolutely obscene crime?
Well, I will always very authoritative on this front that the prime responsibility of the law and order lies with the law enforcement agency, and they are the police and rangers in Karachi and Sindh. And they giving this reason that we are under political pressures and we are under all sorts of pressures and we get transferred when we arrest someone and we don't succumb to those pressures. I think they are not doing their duties in this respect. What we need is the firm resilience from the police side and from the law enforcement agencies side, because no one is stopping them, not even the Constitution of Pakistan, not even the laws that have been made for them as a working in a working environment. So if these laws and if these constitutional things do not stop them from performing their duties, then I think this is again lame excuse from their side that we are being politically victimized, we are being politically stopped, and things like that. So I think they should be primarily made responsible for it, and then the second tier of line, the politicians come in. And I think in the recent days, whatever developments have happened in Karachi, the Prime Minister being here since last 2 days and supervising all those meetings which are being held to review the law and order situation, to get the public views on that, even to get the business community's views and the media view on that. And then coming back to the cabinet meeting and then coming with a resolution that yes, we are there to settle down the issue, we are there to fight against the criminals, and all the political parties are on the same front and same page. And he even said in a meeting with the industrialists that on my right, it's Governor Dr. Ishaq Khan, who is the governor of Sindh and an MKM nominee. And on my left is Qaim Ali Shah, the Chief Minister of Sindh and a PPP nominee. And he clearly stated that they are with me and I'm with them and I'm with all the political parties on this front. And this resolution from their side, I think, is good enough to tell us that the government has got serious job ahead.
You mentioned that the police are primary offenders. Is this really possible given the dynamics of the police force and leave alone the whole country in Karachi? Can really the police, if you were the IG or if I was the DIG, could we really be held responsible for this chaos and not clamping the chaos? One. And the second question, which I asked earlier as well, what political will have to do with dealing with crime?
You see, the reason why you are confused is because you do not conceive that we are living in a kleptocracy. This is a thieving state. Very soon, you could have 2 prime ministers and 2 presidents in jail. In fact, 2 prime ministers, former prime ministers, are likely to go to jail, and that's the betting on the public. And the one prime minister, the current one, has 34 pages of charges against him in the Zafar Ali Shah case. One president has 6 NRO cases against him, which will open and should open automatically on the 9th of September. And the other one is already in jail, Pervez Musharraf or whatever. So you tell me, when you live in a kleptocracy and you have this kind of a track record, why are you surprised that the police are not performing well? 40,000 policemen were recruited by the present PPP government, which is the same as the former PPP government, on the basis of political loyalty. The chief minister is the same chief minister who presided over the destruction of law and order in the last government.
Presided over
The present governor is obviously a chameleon of sorts because he served Musharraf, he served Altaf Hussain, and he served Zardari, and he's still there.
But that's his job.
Excuse me, it's not his. He came as.
I think he's a peacekeeper and he does the job well. And that's his responsibility.
He many other keepers of many other things, but you want to say peace, fine. I won't argue with that for the moment. So what I'm trying to tell you, the same police, the same leadership, the same mindset, the same politicians. Do you honestly think that's the definition of lunacy, isn't it? That if you continue doing what you have failed to do and expect and continue doing that, hoping you will succeed. That's what they call madness.
Okay, and a quick answer to uh, why do we synonymize political will with law and order and crime, dealing with crime? Zahir? Sorry. Why does this discussion keep coming up that there has to be political will to deal with crime?
Because I was trying to tell you, I wish we could say that they could work up the political will somehow. I wish I could.
Why do you need a political will? It's a crime. It's dealing with crime.
No, but there are times when, to pursue criminals, to get them justice.
It is a political matter.
And who are connected politically, for example. Who are connected politically.
So that's why it becomes a political matter, Shahid Saba?
No, it's not just political. Of course, there are many political connections that these people have. They have managed to develop and cultivate contacts. Those contacts are activated and they come to their rescue. Now, how does that happen? When we say there is a political will issue, you have to look at the Sindh rules of business. Under the Sindh rules of business, the chief minister can stop any investigation. He has the power. He's empowered to do so. This is from quite a number of decades. Not one single political party that has come has changed that. Why?
There are two questions. One, I want to ask you how, as a young person who has a full life ahead of her in the city, how do you feel about this? And, well, another one of our guests is also here. Maybe we should take a short break right now. I think we'll take a short break. So Bilawal Khosa, who's also in the studio, can join us. And then we'll open the forum to these two young people as well, how they feel. And if they have questions they'd like to ask our friends here, we'll open that as well. Just a very quick summary. We're talking about Karachi and the Prime Minister's visit to Karachi in an effort to deal with this very delicate situation. Let's take a short break. Thanks for staying with us. You're watching Perspectives. Bilawal, thank you very much for joining us. You've heard the discussion we're having. Question to both of you. How do you feel about going on? And secondly, if anything you would like to pose to us, then please.
How do we feel? A very difficult question because every day in and day out, there's a new happening coming in. You get to work and you listen to something new happening. Someone else being shot, being killed, being tortured, a bus, Karachi University bus being looted, and you go like, okay, there has to be a reason behind all of this. You might go towards your enemies, you might go for revenge, but why would you come to people who are going to get their education? Like, what did we do? Where did we go wrong? We aren't even in the system already that we might be doing some harm to you. So the thing comes down to this, that now we have to see, when we're talking about political will, and very rightly pointed out, we need to find out how much of crime is politically activated and how much of crime is actually being committed for the sake of crime. So when we come down to that, I'm sorry, but there are many a times when we refrain from naming people because we go like, we know there's someone behind. So when you're living in such a time and in such a city, that is when political will becomes synonymous with crime in the city or catching criminals, that is. Being a youngster, then again, we elected in the elections, very positive, very pro-democracy and everything, but I'm very sorry to say, highly disappointed. I voted for change, many people voted for change, but we do not see that change coming up even in the places where that change has won. The problem is that. So when I see this now, next election's coming up, because for me this tenure is okay. Old faces coming in saying the same things, the same promises. This Karachi is ours. This is our city, city of lights. We've been hearing this, I don't know, for the past 10 years. Yes, exactly. So for me now, it's like I shun all of those. The next elections, I'm coming up. Because I know only myself that I can win. How can I trust someone else because there's no hope?
Interesting.
Sorry to have missed the earlier part of the show. Uh, I think when it comes to Karachi, we need to look at it at a broader perspective. There are many layers to it. It's not just a political problem.
Uh-huh.
When it comes to Karachi, there are a lot of illegal refugees here
Mhm.
who are staying here without permits, without their identification, without any
You mean
registration.
Afghan refugee?
Yeah, Afghan, you name it.
Primarily.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but the problem here is that we are not ready to develop ourselves as a nation. We are still divided, and we're still trying to do the political scoring when it comes to Karachi. Now, MQM is blaming People's Party for whatever is happening right now. Now, the problem that I have is that whatever I'm watching right now in Karachi is nothing new for me. I saw the 12th May incident. There was no PPP government in it. Then I also saw the gang war thing, which was happening in the previous government, and MQM was part of government at that time. So I think we need to hold accountable to the people who we elect, and we should be free enough to go and question them that we voted for you. Now, who is responsible for our security? If I am a student and if I am paying my taxes on time, and if my family is worried about me all the time, that if I go out, I get 50 calls in 1 hour that beta khair se ho, dhamaka ho gaya, and this and that. So I'm not really very optimistic about this country. When I look around these things happening, I would rather want my children to uh, spend their life outside of Pakistan, where at least I would be, not worrying about them like my parents are worried about me.
I see sadness in your face. I see Zafar nodding his head. Zafar.
Yes, absolutely correct.
No, it's not surprising that
Every
if you were
refugee group that gets caught in any country, whether it's in Indonesia, whether it's on the Iran border, whether it's on the Greek border, whether it's on the Bulgarian border, you will read the news reports, included were Pakistanis, blah, blah, blah. They are running,
They're running away.
and the minorities in particular, they are fleeing. I mean, they are terrified. That means you have been unable to provide them with security. Forget about the economy. These people are used to only the basics in life, and not even that. They've never had anything better. So there's nothing really that they are losing. But they've had security, a semblance of it. Even that has stopped existing now. So I think we've reached a part where, frankly, these kind of situations and press conferences and what he was referring to in terms of lights and all, it's not working. When the head of a naval intelligence unit is in fact a kidnapper and actually is bargaining for the ransom of the person he is kidnapped, you can imagine the lengths to which we have plunged, the depths to which we have plunged. So what I'm trying to tell you is you need a completely different set of people, ideas, will, and whatever. And you're not getting it with these people. You can't get it with
Okay,
these
I
people.
come to my earlier question, which I said in the opening. And let's have maybe you. Can a federal government, in this politically entrenched network that we have in this country, if I was the prime minister and if I did not belong to the political party which was in the province, am I able to do anything?
Primarily, the responsibility is of the provincial government to do it, and the federal government can assist them. And finally, we talk about the army is the last option that the federal government may have for it. But I think we need to understand, coming back to his comments and her comments, I think we must understand what has happened to Karachi in recent times and how Karachi has gone from bad to worse. Karachi is a humongous city, and I think the basic issue has been the Kachi Abadis that have been going all over Karachi and people from all over country coming into Karachi. Well, it's not anything bad that people should not come to Karachi and live over here, but the happenings of Kachi Abadis in numbers, in huge numbers, in the outskirts of Karachi, where the illegal occupation of land is there. I think the most of the crimes exist from those areas in the city, and due to that, the economic progress of Karachi, the setting up of industries, the setting up of trading houses in Karachi, came to a standstill now. And
Ahmed, if I may interject, like Zafar said, economy is one thing.
I
Economy will
understand
happen.
that. But just try to understand that if we will stop bringing up new industries over here, if we will stop bringing up new industrial trading houses over here, naturally the population in Karachi will go unemployed. So as a matter of fact, it's increasing day by day. So if it's increasing day by day, what are you going to do with this youth that is coming up? And then with the advancement of the mobile technology, with the easy money that was coming into Karachi, and the incidence of mobile snatching and all those things, which has happened in recent times, 700 to 800 mobile phones are being snatched daily from Karachi. And if you
No, but
are sitting in a gathering
but,
of...
that's not, but the law has to be enforced. Someone has to catch these people.
Yes.
Yes, Sabah, please.
The point is, as you put it politically, there's a political issue,
Yeah.
there's a legal issue. Politically, naturally, they have to move carefully
Mhm.
because they're not the government here. So
Exactly.
there is that tension. So they have to move step by step. But it does not mean that the 18th Amendment has completely left the federal government without any recourse. Article 149 is still intact even after the 18th Amendment. Somehow they missed it, probably. And Article 149 means the executive authority of the Federation shall extend to the giving of such directions to a province as may appear to the federal government to be necessary for that purpose. 1. 2. They can give directions to a province for the construction, maintenance of measures of communication for strategic importance, national strategic. 3. It can extend to giving directions to a province. This is more meaningful. As to the manner in which the executive authority is to be exercised for the purpose of preventing any grave menace to the peace or tranquility or economic life of Pakistan or any part thereof. But somehow the 18th Amendment is
Power. They have full power.
I kept raising
They
this
have-
question yesterday and I did not get the answer. Thank you for bringing this
Article
up.
149 is
Kemi,
there.
globally, there are domestic crimes and there are national crimes. Even in the US, you can,
The federal crimes versus
exactly,
state crimes.
and FBI kicks in. So
Yes.
What happens is these
why don't we have
inspections-
federal crimes? These are federal crimes. What's happening in Karachi are federal crimes.
Exactly. The point is, but the Constitution to this, beyond this, is silent.
But
That
does
is,
it have to say anything beyond this?
no, at times, yes, you have to describe the crimes. It's not described here.
Okay.
But here, what is described and what is the situation. So it will be a situational position that gives the powers, which is grave menace to peace and
Exactly.
tranquility or economic life. Now, if we look at what's happening in Karachi, economic life, tranquility, as these young people are talking about,
Absolutely.
nobody knows whether we can go safely when we come back, whether we're going to come back
as I
alive.
just mentioned also, it's hurting the economy, it's hurting the progress of the
It
city
has
and the
killed
country.
economy. Why do you want to say hurt? We've gone to the point of killing the economy.
Absolutely.
You've got the businessmen out on the streets. They're scared to death.
I've got
But
just
those-
one question.
Please.
That what if these instructions are not followed as per Article A149?
Then there are other aspects that come in. As I said, there are certain grey areas. Somehow the 18th Amendment missed it. So this is still there. Otherwise,
as a
this
matter
would
of
have
fact-
been gone.
As a matter of fact, the federal government has started exercising its right under Article 149.
No, not yet.
Wherein they have come into Karachi,
No,
wherein
not-
they are
not yet.
trying
I think right now
No,
they're
no,
just
no,
coming
no,
to facilitate.
They are
And offer
here
help.
trying to create what we would say a political understanding. This is a political move on their part. It's not a legal one yet.
I would have loved to see my Prime Minister come in and say, these are the steps that are being taken right and now. I'm speaking as of, and I'm telling you, I'm just informing you, this is what is happening.
Yeah, but
How
see,
more words will come out?
Not yet.
I would be
But I-
happier if you just said nothing.
I understand.
If
But
you-
then, what, in my point of
The
view,
one measure that the federal government took was to bring in the IG. And there was such an uproar that within 1 hour...
uproar by?
by the provincial government, which is a different political party, which is the PPP. So, it's not, they have to move
But please, I ask you, why should he say anything? Tell him, gentlemen, I won't address you. I'll let my performance speak.
Yeah, exactly.
And go.
And then again,
Do your meetings and go away to Lahore, drive in, wherever.
and don't you think the killing of one man in the city is enough reason for a government?
But the provincial government doesn't recognize that. They have immediately reacted. And that reaction means that we'll see a political reaction on the streets.
Which
So,
will you see a political reaction?
Plenty, Liari.
No, what
But
reaction
then
will
again,
you see?
don't you think, very frankly, even if I lived in the middle of the city, the kind of action that we see day in and day out, if I know that there's a purpose to this reaction, because very frankly, I do not see a peaceful tranquility coming into Karachi. What I see is a great upheaval, a great something of a civil war or something,
Yeah.
and then people, I'm really sorry, but this
That's
is
okay. That's your
this
opinion.
is what
You're
history has seen, and this is what we can see coming up. Very frankly, if my life, ending of my life means Karachi getting a new life and getting much less population and a new economy, why not? I would say, why do we die in and day out? Why, when we could die for a reason? Simple as that.
Bilal,
I think
that's a
they
very great
But I
comment.
think that's exactly where the public is boiling. That boiling point is coming. But the question is that
This public can't boil.
no, it can.
But I think
every
I think
public
this
can
generation
boil.
is about to boil.
In
Every-
the subcontinent is infinite. Please
No.
understand.
Even this generation.
In the subcontinent, historically, look, the Punjab, can you ever imagine today that in the Punjab, a minority ruler like Ranjit Singh banned the Azan? I mean, just wait. I mean, can you imagine? Look at the way we go around.
Got away with it.
Huh?
And got away with
Oh,
it.
got away with it. Totally, absolutely.
Level
I
comments.
think when we talk about Karachi, we need to look into one thing, that the national parties are giving away this feel that Karachi is a different ball game. However, the same things have been happening in Punjab as well, in many parts of the country. But the
all
problem
over
here is
Pakistan.
that
all over Pakistan.
all over Pakistan. But the problem here is that when we have a interior minister who says that the people of Karachi are being killed because of their girlfriends or their affairs, this is what Rahman Malik said. And now we have a sitting DIG who said that people are being killed because of their personal enmity,
I know,
and it's not a big deal. This is what he said. Now, if we have people in authority who are speaking like that,
Yeah.
now how can the normal public be optimistic about this city? And one more thing, Karachi, I think, is going towards an anarchy where people are getting this impression that they're not being owned by the rest of the country, and we're just giving away a free hand to the terrorists that you can do whatever you want.
Exactly, it's a very good point. I don't think that the Prime Minister should come in one day and catch the plane back at 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah,
and
I agree with
do
that.
this. I think that the Prime Minister should say, I'm going to stay here. I've staked my political future
Quite true.
in writing the situation. And you know where I'm going to live? I'm going to live in Sorab Goat. Yes, I'm going to live in Sorab Goat, and I'm going to see that I can walk there. I can see that people
Basically,
come
what you're saying is just take an iron stand and just take that stance and
but
do it in
they
real
don't have
time.
it in them, you see. We're asking for the impossible.
Yeah, but you see, like Saiba just said, a little mention of changing the IG and the uproar from not just the other political party, but also media
Media also, because it's
work
amazing.
as the medium
It's
for that
amazing
hype.
how little knowledge the media has at times. The manner in which they give impressions which are literally contrary to law. It's amazing.
I mean, the media did not really. The media could have said, what are you saying?
No, they should have turned around and said, yes, it's needed for the city. The people need it. Let's try it. Let's try it. We've tried many things. Let's try
I'm
it.
sorry to say this, really sorry to say this, but I don't think they care.
Who's there?
Have you ever heard a Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces? That is our present president for the next 2 days. Have you ever imagined the Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces never once visiting the battlefield? Meaning never once going to the tribal areas. Can you imagine? Even that Obama goes to bases that the
He
Americans
comes to
have
Afghanistan.
and comes and flies and does this thing. My point is that why don't we get the message? The message is they don't care. And yet,
The political will issue is there, no?
they get returned.
My point
That's
of
the
contention
political
is
will.
that this government is, let's say, 2.5 months old, and they have shown their willingness to come to Karachi, uh, talk politically with political leaders, and come with a stand that they all stand for resolving the peace of Karachi. They all stand for eradicating criminal activities from Karachi and to catch criminals irrespective of their political affiliations. And all political parties have given their consent for it. So it's time that we must start from somewhere. We know that things are so bad. Whatever reactions we have, whatever information we have, if I start telling you, it will take weeks and months to tell you what has happened in Karachi and how it's happening in Karachi. We know all these miseries of the people. We have been seeing people who have been giving millions of rupees in just 10 minutes and 20 minutes to these
I
extortioners.
have a question. When you say political parties have given consent for an operation against crime, that in association says that political parties were preventing. Who is a political party to give consent against crime? Am I right,
We will
sir?
put it like this. We will put it like this: that they are upfront against all the criminals, and they also believe that this has not happened in the past, and that now it will happen. So they have again shown their willingness to fight against those criminals. So it's not that they have given the permission or consent; they have shown their willingness.
Okay.
So
There's one other point that I find rather strange, and that is there's a trumpeting taking place of operations are to take place, operations are to take place. By the time it takes place, all these guys will have bolted from the city, wait for 1 month, and they'll all be back.
true,
So
ma'am.
what's the whole?
Well, in the
True,
past
ma'am. I
government,
will tell you
the
that.
in the past
raison
government,
d'etre?
they actually said you have 2 days to leave the city.
What's the raison d'etre?
Okay.
What's the
You know,
raison d'etre?
it's not like that you are trying to announce an operation that from tomorrow onwards we will start an operation, and like you said that
No, the last time
in
it was
past-
actually announced
but
that you have 2 days to leave the city.
it's an action which is being warranted against the criminal.
Sure, no doubt.
And it's not like that you will announce dates and timings for those.
Sure.
It's a continuous action, and it's forever. Because
Absolutely.
it's not that the criminality
Exactly.
was
Fight against
finished.
crime is a continuous
Yeah,
fight.
it's a
It's not
continuous
it's not a 5-day thing.
It's a duty.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
I'm sorry I'm smirking right now. But
Everyone
the thing
is
is that if the political parties really had the will to do this and really had given the consent to do this, if I was the head, I would have just started with my party.
Well, they all say start with their party.
No, that's not. They say do an operation, but do not
Across the board.
targeted. It shouldn't be unbiased. When you go there, you mean
It should be biased.
it should be before, first. You should be first, and then I go.
So yesterday, one of the parties said in an all parties conference that start from our party.
But they all say.
But that's the
so,
thing.
so all of them follow.
No,
that.
no, no, no.
Excuse
Only
me.
one party.
Why are we talking about people with guns as criminals? I mean, somehow we keep thinking that the only criminals are the people.
Sympathizers, they're also criminals.
No, forget the sympathizers also. What about the real criminals who've been looting this treasury? I know one particular chap, he's just been elevated, by the way. He used to make 1 crore a day. Now, the point I'm trying to tell you is,
Why
they're
do you
all
put
in
people-
it. There are different.
Why do you associate with such people?
No, I don't know him as a friend. I know of his activities. And all I'm saying is, he's just been elevated, by the way. And it's not hard to guess who he is. The point I'm trying to make is that, please, they're all in it together. They're all got their hands in the pie. So it's very difficult to say, the gun variety we don't like. You understand? He says, oh, you don't like the gun variety.
saying is it's
but
all-
you can
it's all
get it from
interlinked.
one signature. I have to go and do hold-ups to get even a quarter of the amount of money you get. So when you know the chap with the signature is getting away, Scott, what moral
The trickle down effect
morality
of crime.
is it?
The trickle down effect of crime, basically.
Absolutely.
And
It's a morass.
no, I'm saying trickle down effect of crime.
I'm talking about morass.
The crime there, why should I stop? And Sab, you've been with CPLC for years. You've seen Karachi. You've got your finger on the pulse. Tell me, is there hope? Do you have hope for these young people, or nah?
I'll tell absolutely there's always a hope available. We have seen countries in disastrous situations. We have seen countries in dying situations, and they have recovered back from that angle. So why not Karachi? Karachi is a humongous city of about 113 police stations, and the most sensitive police stations are 6 to 7 in all. So The rest of the police stations, they are not so sensitive. So we need to concentrate on area-wise. We need to plan our strategies, and people know for sure these law enforcement agencies have the complete knowledge of who is doing what in Karachi. And if they start taking actions, I would not talk about operations, but I would talk about start taking
Just
operations.
daily action.
Yeah. So then there's no way that these criminals can operate. And even this sound of starting taking actions or started taking operation would harass the criminals away from the city. And if they really go away from the city, what more we can achieve? We can achieve peace and tranquility, and then it would be
No,
a
but
continuous
I don't agree with that. You would have chased them to the rest of the country. They'll be looting the rest of the country.
No,
we need to
It's not like that. It's not
we
like
need to
that.
catch them.
It's not like that. You know, things are not so easy in
It's
other
not just about
provinces.
Karachi.
It's not like it's not
It's
so
happened
easy in other
before.
provinces to operate.
Yeah, but it's not just about Karachi.
No, but it has
You know-
happened before. We've had operations, and everybody knows they've moved out of the area
And they
and
come
they
back
won't
after
come
years.
back. This is part of our history. In the
This is-
last 5
Yeah,
or
but
10
I
years.
agree to
Then
that.
again, ma'am,
I agree
I have,
with
I
that.
have, I have about 4 minutes. I have your question
Now,
and closing comments.
we're talking about catching the criminals, but when we do manage to catch them, the courts, set them free.
No,
Even
the
they-
court don't. It's because of weak prosecution.
That's what I'm saying. That there is a whole ball game to this. We can't blame just the politicians.
Yeah.
See, we have a parliament where the industrialist is representing the worker, where the landlord is representing the farmer.
Well, we have talked about the improvement in prosecutions from the police side.
Maybe take the closing comments. I'll come in a second. Please.
We're coming to a time when many educated people, very tolerant people, so to say, have started to say that we should keep a gun to ourselves. So we know that we are in a capacity to protect ourselves from other things. Other than that, when we say it's a young government, 2.5 months old, sir, I totally differ. They have a 90-year experience behind them. I did not vote for 2.5 month government. I voted for a mature government. And second of all, they have nothing in them that they can offer to us. The next government that's coming in is going to be us coming in and doing everything
You
right.
said that the third time. It's scaring me. That's
I think we have the option of hope,
the option. Okay.
nothing else.
Nothing else.
It's an option. Those who don't exercise it, they have my sympathies. Those who exercise it, I hope they're lucky.
You don't seem very hopeful.
We have talked with the Prime Minister on the issue of changes in laws of evidence and changes in prosecution system of the police. And all the board, all the members over there have agreed that there will be change in prosecution laws, there will be change in evidence laws of evidences, Section 163 especially. And we hope that if these things are implemented, then things would start moving.
Ahmed is Kanun Shahadat, right? That's what it's called. We've been talking about that, 7 years?
Kanun
Law of evidence.
Shahadat Order 1988.
But we've been discussing about changing about 7 years now.
It's like that, but immediately today,
But even what you have, you are not implementing. An addition of another tomes of changes, what's it going to do? When the implementation of what is even available now
It's quite enough.
is quite enough, and it's not being used. So what do you do?
In the performance of the lower judiciary during these elections, 6.3 billion was spent. I mean, yeah, for God's sake, they think we are fools. The worst government in the history of Pakistan has been this PVP government, and certainly the most corrupt. And it got elected with a bigger majority.
From the People's Court.
So what I'm trying to tell you is, it's the people. I mean, you keep saying the people. The people elect governments.
And
So
you
what-
say this is it.
No, it's not.
You say this is it. You're coming in yourself next time. But will you feel the same way?
I completely differ. I don't think that there is much hope left right now, because we had a hope in the past elections, but it's lost now, I think, because I personally myself voted for change. I waited for 2 hours in the line, went there, and
Just out of curiosity, why are you so scared of saying PTI?
okay, let's say
supposed to say
I didn't vote
India's
for
neighboring country.
I did not vote.
PTI is PTI.
I did not vote for PTI.
Oh, okay, so when you say vote for change, you mean something different.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. I stand corrected. Shahid, for closing comments, quickly.
No, I can quite understand the fears, the fact that they have this terrible depression, they've lost hope, because we've just come through an election with great expectations and it's not happened. So there is a shock. And the whole country is going through that shock.
Sure.
And I think that I, for instance, believe very strongly there is a tremendous amount of grit. It's in the youth. It is in the people. When we talk about the people re-electing the same, the fault lies with the political parties who put up the candidates. Who else are the people supposed to choose but those on the ballot box, those on the ballot paper?
Or as
So
Jura
who
says
put-
themselves,
who-
coming soon.
No, that's right. So you have to get onto the ballot paper. So everybody voted according to what was on the ballot paper.
Sure.
I don't blame the people. I'm afraid
Okay.
I don't. In fact, I find the people are in real trouble, and necessity is the mother of invention. Hope.
Then again, ma'am, if I'm a common man and I want to participate in elections, I
Yeah.
need a good amount of money to
Yes.
back me for the
Yes.
campaign.
Yes.
And sadly, media is playing a big role in it. Media channels are selling their time slots
Yes.
for political parties,
Yes.
which is very, I think, very unethical.
Agreed.
Very
That's
unethical
what
of
I'm
media to
saying.
do.
We're getting to the point where you can't be fooling all the people all the time. So necessity will be the mother of invention. There
I
is hope.
recommend you read a book called The Retreat of Democracy. And when you read that book, you will understand what Hegel understood a long time ago, that the people don't understand what it is. They don't understand. And our people, who are 70% are illiterate, really don't understand. And it's
More
not
than more than that, Zafar Sahab, you have to give the people that they don't have the money to compete with this
And also
plutocracy,
that,
as you
yeah.
say. They don't have the money
Yeah.
to compete with this kleptocracy. So it's not a question of that they don't understand. They are,
That's true.
to a large degree, financially paralyzed.
Thank you very much, all of you. Zafar said that, subcontinent, there's infinite patience. I also agree. I think that is true. But I have a feeling that these frogs may have come to the boiling point. And my apologies for calling it the frogs, but it's the pot and the frog and the hay. All of us, but maybe not so much us. But them, I think maybe 3-4 years, maybe this tenure shall pass. But I'm speaking of Karachi only. Shall pass with some relative peace. But I assure you, the next election, I think, are going to be terribly different for a lot of political parties. Until next time, good night.